quick introduction for episode 62 of my weekly diary. That light is absolutely awful. In this one, I've got some game highlights and a few bits of training that I've managed to get, so I hope you enjoy. So, this was London Broncos ladies versus Sheffield Eagles, and the final score was 22-8 to us. Now, this was quite a stressful game for me, because obviously this was my debut. I didn't actually know if I'd get any game time or not, because we were losing at half-time, which is probably why it was so stressful. It was quite weird, actually, because we came there thinking, oh, this shouldn't be too hard, because they've played people we've won against, blah, blah, blah. But obviously, I hadn't played for them, so I was kind of watching at first. And, yeah, no, it was a lot harder than I'm guessing we imagined. I think we made it a bit too hard for ourselves. I think just the way we were playing, we kind of lowered our standards to theirs. But that definitely made it a lot harder. Because trying to get used to league tackles is a lot weirder. Because obviously, in Union... Sorry, something just went down my throat. In Union, you do one-on-one tackles, while in this, it's like 3-on-1. So it's one person holding the ball, one person driving back, and then one person going for their feet. Which, like, 2 out of the 3 I've got. Going after a feet one, I think always threw me off, because if no one's pushing, it's, like, really hard to get them down by just holding on to their feet. But managed to do it. Didn't get a lot of game time, which was kind of expected. But the time I did have, I think I showed myself pretty well. Because normally I need like a bit of time to get into it, get the adrenaline up. But I think because we were losing, I was kind of like, oh my god, we need this now. And so I had some really nice tackles. Actually had a run in that I was really happy with. But yeah, so this was my game. So I hope you enjoy these highlights, because I sure as hell did. Video were on the move, because obviously it is currently 7 a.m. on Wednesday, so I'm going to tell you about Monday and Tuesday. So Monday was actually really annoying, because what I didn't realise is because I had training Wednesday, Friday and then a game, I'd pretty much come to my hours that I'm allowed to. So I was allowed to do pretty much nothing on Monday. I could do passing and that, but that was about it, which obviously absolutely insane. However, lucky for me, they weren't actually doing a lot. Well, they were and they weren't. It was like back focus, but you're like still creating pods and doing everything like that. Then we had Tuesday, which then finally I could do pretty much everything except for conditioning at the end, which obviously didn't mind that much. I was doing bike session anyway, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off for about 10 minutes. Because, yeah. The reason why I'm doing it on the walk is because I need to go help someone back, and they're a bit late, so I need to get that help in. But Tuesday was actually a lot better, because we started to do a bit more tackling and stuff like that. But the main focus was getting our positioning right, units, analysis, and that took absolutely hours and hours. We also did like an hour and a half of gym, so all of it went really well. And I'll do a better video for Tuesday later. So I'm going to do a quick continue on from Tuesday and then do Wednesday as well. So I did talk about Tuesday, but I think because how long of a day it was, I didn't get all of it in. And obviously I was like on the move. Sorry, it was my cat. I was on the move, so I don't think I managed to get it all. So I'm just going to do it from that. So out of all the days of the week, Tuesday was definitely the longest. We had to wake up, have breakfast at 7 a.m. and then it was pretty much... It was weird. We had like an hour and a half break in between, so that was... Because normally we go straight from there, but we didn't this time. Then we had the rugby, which was IDP, which is independent. So you get there, you do your own stuff for about 10 minutes, and then you move on to something else. So in this case, we moved on to, it was a bit weird because so we were shown what we were supposed to do. And it was like, if you've got any questions, like, ask now. So there's 3 different squares. Like, we set up in the 3 different, obviously, just have like a group in each. And then there was different cones, which had different colours. And then he'd blow the whistle. Now, I was non-bib, which meant it was non-bibs and blues that were together. And then yellows and greens were a team. So at first, I was defence. And he was basically explaining how to go through that. And then if we had any questions, go to him. So I think we had like one quick walkthrough kind of explaining what we were doing. Sorry, this is what I'm dealing with. So we had one quick walkthrough. And then we went on to passing drills, tackling drills, and a few other bits. But those were kind of like high intensity, short periods of time. And then you went over them twice. Some of them were quite easy and simple, like passing with 1 tennis ball, 1 rugby ball, and then 2 tennis balls, and then I think it just ended up being a rugby ball at the end. And then it moved on to a tackling drill, which I actually quite like. So it's 1 person in front, 1 person behind. If the person behind doesn't move, then you just tackle the person in front. But if the person behind moves, then you have to quickly sidestep and tackle them instead. So I quite like that drill. That obviously progressed a bit more and a bit more. And then finally we went onto the drill we were talking about at the start. Obviously it was now trying to work out what I was doing, where I was going. Luckily defence is quite easy as it's setting up where you are in a line. You had to make sure you always had 2 people on their knee, on one knee, at the breakdown. So wherever the cones were, he called the colour of. Then we pretty much did that for nearly all of it. However, because of my hours, I still wasn't allowed to do conditioning. But that was for the next session, so I did bike session instead, which was 30 seconds high intensity, like 30 seconds off 10 times. So not too bad. Then we had lunch. Then we had, I think it was like 2 hours of different things. So it was like units and analysis. So first we went through it, then we were doing scrum practice on an actual scrum machine, which was quite nice. But definitely had to teach some of the first years how to get into position, because first few times we did it, we ended up collapsing a bit, but that was because of the hips. Obviously the hips wasn't attached to mine, and then that made the second rows too loose, and then when they pushed through, they fell to the floor, which completely collapsed it all for us. So it was, we kind of had to go off to the side for a bit and then kind of go through teaching them how to do it, where positioning wise and all of that. But by the end it got really good. I was really happy with how we left it off. But that we did that for a good while. And then it was another training session, which just focused on like how we'd come off of a line out or how we'd come out of a scrum, different groups we'd be in and everything like that. So all of it was quite useful stuff, but it was a lot of information packed rather than run back and forth, see what happens, which obviously is quite nice. She won't leave me alone, and if I stop stroking her, she'll start me out. But that was pretty much my day for Tuesday. So obviously quite a long day, but very much information packed. Then Wednesday we went Camden for some random reason, don't know why. I don't know if that's just because I live near Camden, where it just seemed a bit weird to me, but yeah. It looks like a demon. One of her eyes went back. But yeah. So, woke up, breakfast. Everyone else left their bags into one room, because that's what we were kind of supposed to do. But I asked my dad to give me permission to go straight from Camden home, because what the original plan was you go from Camden back to Brunel and then go home from there. But that would have been so long. And honestly, by the time I was on my last train and nearly home, they still hadn't reached the train station yet. So it was a good call. But I did end up walking around with a massive bag on my back for ages. We had little challenges. I think it was about 6 challenges. I think we did all but one. And that's just because we didn't really want a picture of a busker. Because it's normally like you pay for it. But I only bought henna, which, as you can see, I've been screwing around with. I made a little soot sprite. I was quite happy with that. I got 3 different ones, so it was actually really good. I was quite happy with that. But yeah, I don't have a lot to say because we kind of walked around for a bit, did the challenges we needed to, and then kind of split off just to have a little wander around. I brought someone with me, just like a random first year, Madsen. And yeah, so that was my day Wednesday. Honestly, not a lot I can talk about. I did go to a shop I really wanted to visit, but I need my mum there to convince me to try stuff on, or I can't be bothered. So I hope you enjoy it, and that's Tuesday and Wednesday. Mostly Tuesday though. Alright, and another quick one as I'm about to head to gym now. I feel relatively fine, but I'm going to make sure I keep an eye on my back because it was not happy on Wednesday, and obviously I'd rather keep it like fine rather than doing something stupid and hurting it again. Like trying to work out where to put my phone. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I think it's going to be like a bit of a mix of the arms and legs, but focus on keeping light weights off my back, and hopefully that should be fine. So I should send like pictures, hoping it's not too busy. Just realised I forgot my gym key, so I'll be back. So I'm on my way to do hill sprints. I've made this video about 3 times because I just started them at the wrong time. It was either too noisy or I had to cross the road, and obviously don't want that. But yeah, so it's only 10 hill sprints. It's not too bad. Might do some stretching afterwards, but sadly my dad isn't here, so the usual running pictures I won't be able to get. So there's just going to be one normal one at the end, which obviously isn't too bad, but nothing cool or anything. I'm hoping soon. So I've got a new weighted ball but I didn't realise it needed like the pressurised pump. So I just got one of the electric ones thinking, yeah, that'd be fine. Not realising that it's not fine. But lucky for me, I have my club nearby and they have one. So I'm going to end up using their one. And yeah, so have a good day. Goodbye. Just been sitting for like the last 10 minutes after I finished because that was awful. I poured water on myself, by the way. It's not all sweat. But then I screwed up time. So this morning, I went to do it like early to get it over and done with. But I just couldn't wake myself up. Didn't want to get out of bed. My mistake. Because for some reason, it went from like 0 to being absolutely boiling. Like it's come back to being normal again, but it was so hot and insane, and I forgot to repeat mine, so it's all a mess. Yeah. Oh my god, I need to get a picture, but that's me done for the day. Bye.